What is anxiety to you?
To me, anxiety is like that really strong sense of panic and like fear and sometimes even anger. And it's just like a way to let out your kind of fears.
This is when she was 6 days old. She was chubby baby. She was with my mom in Morocco in our neighbor's farm. She used to love horses a lot. This is my favorite picture. She was wearing all Barbie clothes. We were invited to a Turkish restaurant. She loved the food. We were going to Morocco in the ferry. The next day, she was wearing a fairy dress and she was walking with her handbag and like a little lady. I took her to have this beautiful picture with the traditional Berber dress. So she was so happy, especially about the lipstick, and she put henna in her hand. This one was her birthday. Every time we put the candle on, her sister blew off. And she started crying, screaming. This picture, it's in Hallfield School. She started at her nursery. There was a big party there for all the kids. This is Eid picture with her grand auntie. She loved her because she reminded her of my mom. This is when Aisha started having panic attacks. First time she had it, we got ambulance for her to take her to the hospital. She had several panic attacks. The last one, she spent 1 hour in the room. That's why I called the ambulance. And she said she couldn't hear, she couldn't see. The emergency people helped her a lot.
So I'm on my way to the Orange Tree Theatre in Richmond to see Claire McIntyre's Low Level Panic. I'm really interested to see how these young women cope with their low-level anxieties and what kind of things might cause it for them and how society plays a role. And I really want to see if I can find anything that can help me cope with my own anxieties. So I'm looking forward to seeing this performance. I just got done watching Low Level Panic and I really loved it. Like, it wasn't as much as I wasn't really expecting to see like a proper panic attack or something, but I kind of liked how I could relate to some of the characters, like, and some of the reasons why they were so anxious about their lives and stuff. To find out more about my panic disorder and what makes me me, I've decided to call Dr. Rosenbaum at Hillingdon Hospital. So let's see what she has to say. Hello? Is this Hillingdon Hospital? Yes, could you put me through to Dr. Rosenbaum, please? Thank you. What's the most affected age group and gender in relation to anxiety?
That's very dependent. Most authorities think that anxiety has what we call a bimodal effect. So it affects the sort of young 15 to 25 and then again in later life, sort of 45 to 55 or even a little bit older.
What advice would you give to individuals and or society about the issue of anxiety?
I think it's probably under-recognised, particularly in the young, because it presents very differently in young people to those who are a little bit more mature. I would probably tell people to speak up, to talk to someone, doesn't matter who that is, but someone who recognises what they're saying, recognises the dangers that anxiety can pose, and someone who they feel they can trust.
How severe do panic attacks get, in your opinion?
Panic attacks, a sort of sudden onset of panic attacks, they can be socially debilitating. They can limit what you do socially or limit your career or your education, and the attacks themselves can cause what we call hyperventilation, which is breathing too fast, which means that you drop the level of carbon dioxide in your blood, and you if you don't have enough carbon dioxide in your blood, your brain tells you to faint.
Do you believe that the awareness of anxiety has improved within society?
I would say so, yes. I think the awareness has improved greatly, especially among the medical profession.
What useful or common treatments do you offer to patients with anxiety?
So the most important thing, first things first, is to identify someone with anxiety and correctly identify them. Separate people from anxiety from people with depression, from people with specific phobias. And then the second thing is you need to talk with that person about their coping mechanisms, because you need to help people to cope, because the treatment isn't a right now thing, it takes a long time. So you have your coping mechanisms and then you have your management or your treatment. Something called cognitive behavioural therapy is very useful. It's a challenging form of therapy done with specialists who talk about exposure to your triggers and how you cope, and then eventually you are able to cope and you overcome your fears.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Rosenbaum. It's been very helpful.